It is 2022 and a lot of web developers still struggle when it comes to bundle size. Hi, my name is Stephen Fluin, and today we're going to be taking a look at an Angular application, and we're going to be trying to see, understand, and manage the bundle size. Let's dive in. As always, we are going to start off with a brand new CLI project. We're actually using version 15 of Angular. We're going to include routing and SCSS. What this will do is this will give us a very traditional application with routing, so you'll actually see the bundle size, things like the router add as we're going here. Wait for Yarn to finish, and let's go ahead and jump into our bundle size and take a look at our project. You'll notice this is a little bit simpler because we're now in Angular version 15. I'm going to jump into the Angular JSON file, and we're going to find the source map property from our development build, and I'm going to copy and paste that as well as the name chunks property into our production build. Now we're going to go ahead and do a build. I'll agree to the analytics settings. And now what we're going to do is, because we're doing this bundle size build right up front, we're actually going to be able to see the differences as we change our application. We'll be able to compare and contrast what has happened to our bundle size and understand why it's changed. As we can see here, we've got about 195 KB in our main.js. And now let's go ahead and archive this production build so we can compare with it later. All right, now that that is done, let's go ahead and actually do something interesting in our application. So I'm going to ng add Angular material. It's going to ask me a few questions, including what themes I want, do I want to install animations, those sorts of things. And I'm basically going to say yes to all of these options. So let's go ahead with the default theme. Let's add typography. Let's add animations. And now all that's going to get installed by Yarn. And now I'm going to be able to use the Angular material package to go ahead and create a couple of components. I'll create a dashboard component from Angular Material Dashboard, and I'll create a nav component from Angular Material Navigation. Now this is just to make sure that we're actually using some of the componentry from Angular Material. If we take a look at the index or the app component, what we'll see is that we now have a default Angular application, and we're actually going to want to go ahead and tweak this. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete everything that comes by default in the app component, and I'm going to create an app nav component and an app dash component here that is going to let me see those components in use in the real application. Because I've nested my app dash inside of my app nav, I actually need to go ahead and update my navigation component, and I'm going to use the ng content tag here, which will then import any content from within the component that's specified in the app component. So if we refresh, we see a small error here. I'm going to have to jump back and remove that extra app dash that VS Code so helpfully added. Once we get that removed, everything should be working. All right, yeah, here we have a nice navigation coming from Angular Material and a default dashboard. So obviously we're using a bunch of componentry and we're adding animations and things like this. So we'll do another build and we will see what this has done to our bundle size. So if you remember, our bundle size before was about 195 KB for our main.js, and it's going to be much bigger now. What we actually see is that it's over 489 KB, and we've actually exceeded the bundle budget warning level. And so let's actually figure out what happened here. So I'm going to install a tool called Source Map Explorer with Yarn Global Add Source Map Explorer. And now I'm going to compare these two, first just at the file system level. So you've got a 490 KB main.js now, when we used to have 196 KB. You can also see that some of the other file sizes have stayed the same, some have changed, that sort of thing. Now we're going to use Source Map Explorer. You can use Source Map Explorer or SME, and I'm going to point it at the JS file, and it'll use that source map to figure out where all of that bundle size came from. We see it's coming from material. We can see the CDK, all these sorts of things. Now we can actually go back and we'll compare this to what we saw in the main bundle on the initial build. And we'll see there was no material, there was no CDK. If you just click back and forth, you can kind of visually compare and see what stayed the same and what has changed. As we've just seen, in any Angular application, it's very easy to turn on source maps, install Source Map Explorer, and really start to understand intimately what's going into your bundles so that you can make intelligent decisions and build better applications. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.